Police spokesperson Charity Chanda said Hichilema, who lost the January vote to Lungu by a slim margin, was warned over the allegations he made at a news conference last month. The leader of the United Party for National Development was questioned for 2 hours. His lawyer, Jacob Wimbu, told reporters that it was clear that the police were acting on instructions from Lungu. Hichilema narrowly lost the vote to Lungu by just under 2 percentage points in an election held to replace Michael Sata, who died in office. He criticized the election as a sham, alleging irregularities in the voting process. And now joining me on the phone line for more on the story is Charles Martha. He is a journalist for Bulletin and Record magazine in Lusaka, Zambia. A very good evening to you, Charles, and welcome back to Africa Tonight.
Hello, good evening. I hope you're okay down in South Africa.
Very well, thank you. Now, can you confirm whether or not the reports about Hichilema's claims are true?
Yes, what was actually reported that Hichilema had said is true, that he did actually say that during a press conference that he had called to vent his anger over what was happening between his supporters and the ruling PF. One of his supporters actually was killed in unclear circumstances. So in order to vent his anger, he called for a press conference where he accused the ruling party supporters of having a hand in the death of his supporter.
Now, how did these claims come about? Because, obviously he called this press conference to discuss what was going on between the supporters, and this all of a sudden surfaced that he's saying he gets all these intelligence reports before. How did this surface?
Like I said, the whole press conference was about the issue of violence between his party supporters and those from the ruling party. But towards the end of the press conference, that's where Mr. Hichilema actually said these words, that he was a big man who was well connected and was able to get intelligence reports way before the president could be briefed by the intelligence security system within the country. So he just said this towards the end of the conference, because that was not the main reason why he had called this conference.
Now, the UPND leader was questioned for 2 hours by the police. Do you know what the outcome of that interrogation was?
Well, according to the police, investigations are still going on, because as you might be aware by now, is that a day before he was called to the police had actually gone to his house, to his 2 houses, one in Kablonga and the other one in New Kasama, and also at the party secretariat headquarters in Lusaka, just to search to see if at all they could find any documents. But I think their search wasn't fruitful. And the following day, that's when they asked him to actually report at the police station. He did report the next day, and he was questioned, like you said, for about 2 hours. And according to police spokesperson, he did not actually say anything regarding those questions that he was asked. And then after 2 hours, the police confirmed that they are still continuing with their investigations.
Now, this gets more and more interesting as it unfolds. Now we have Hichilema's lawyer who just gets in on the mix, and he claims that the police were instructed by the president to do what they did. What do you think Edgar Lungu stands to get out of this?
Well, it's not actually a claim, actually. The president, when he was swearing in the Chief Justice, did actually say that why are the police not doing something about the claims that Mr. Hichilema had made at the press conference. So it was only a few days after that that the police moved into action to search Mr. Hichilema's house and party secretariat. So actually he did instruct the police to do that.
Now, does Edgar Lungu and Hichilema, do they have a history of always clashing heads, or is this something new, or the beginning of something that's about to, or maybe that will move forward?
I would say actually that the history isn't that long per se, because this is the first time that Mr. Hichilema and the president, Mr. Edgar Lungu, met in a presidential campaign, and it was only this time during the campaigns that some of the things that were coming from the opposing camps were turning out to be a bit nasty. One would pass this comment and the other one would respond. But I think the history isn't that long that would say these people are from afar, because Mr. Hichilema has contested several elections as a party leader of the UPND. But Mr. Lungu, this was the first time that he was actually contesting on the PF ticket.
Now, finally, Charles, it seems the political battle is on between the two parties, and all of this because of the claims that were made by Hichilema. How serious an offense are these claims, and do they put anyone in danger?
I wouldn't say that they are that serious, because I can assure you that even before Mr. Sata died, when the other Zambian president who died in office, Mr. Manawasa, was in power, Mr. Sata would boast from time to time that he was in charge, not just receiving information, but that he was in charge of the intelligence system. So on several occasions, he could pass those comments, and there was no reaction from the sitting president then. But what is happening now, I think that's why the police had to do a search, because they wanted to see if at all they would find any documents, any classified documents that they would say Mr. Hichilema has in his hands. And the fact that they didn't find these documents, I don't know whether at all this would be taken seriously, or it is one of those political battles that is just passing.
So I'm guessing for now there is no proof that his claims are true.
There is no proof at the moment. At least the police have not confirmed that they found anything, at all.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so very much, Charles, for joining us once again on Africa Tonight. That was Charles Matha, a journalist for Bulletin and Record magazine in Lusaka, Zambia.